Alright, how's it going, everyone? I wanted to share this. One of the best things that I've made with a 3D printer. I've made a bunch of things with it. Now, stick around to the end or look down in the description right now because I have a link for, if you don't have a 3D printer and you don't want to print this yourself, I'm going to have a link to Amazon for under, I think it's 15 bucks, somewhere around there, $12 or something, for basically this unit here that I made, everything that it has here pre-made. And you could buy a couple of them if you want, or a few of them, as many as you need. But I found this thing to be absolutely awesome. So many uses, as I'll show you in this video. What it is, it's basically just a dock that you slide your M12 Milwaukee battery in, and it has a place for connector terminals on the bottom, so you can basically work your 12 volt. Now, you know, you can hack and stick a couple of wires in the little connectors and do it that way. But this is neat, especially if you have a few of these set up where you could mount them down on different devices that you're going to want to use batteries. Plop a battery in and go, and you're making many items work off Milwaukee batteries. And I'll show you some great uses of it soon, where this is very handy. I use it a ton, all the time. So this is the one that I made up. It's basically this. It's got the two terminals. Hopefully you can see down inside there. It's got the two terminals. So when the battery slides in, it basically makes the connection. Okay, this is a fuse. I got a 20 amp fuse in here. It's yet to blow. I just have it kind of set up this way. Just, you know, you could hold it like that in a bag or whatever. You could put it all in one or whatever. The unit that I'll show you on Amazon is a little more sleek than this, but this is plenty effective the way it is. I just took some hot glue and glued the wires down to the bottom. Again, so I got this is set up for the fuse. I didn't want to have it inline. I wanted to have a nice simple inline. And this is kind of the key to it. I got all these connectors. I know you've seen these before. Very common connector. Great for 12 volt DC usage. And I'll show you all the ways that I use this, okay? For starters, so this is what's going to come out of the 3D printer if you make it. It takes like, I think 2-3 hours to print, depending on what printer. I've got the Ender 3, I believe it is. I will stick a link to that as well, the 3D printer that I use, and just some black PLA that I made. So I got a whole bunch of these that I'm making up. So I'll have them in a bunch of different areas. But for now, this is kind of the portable unit that I just kind of have as I need it when I need it. And what makes it so useful, you know, again, you could just plop in the little small M12 battery, or the next step up, which is this is the 1.5 amp hour. They got the 3 amp hour, and then you got the 4 amp hour. I don't even know if they have anything bigger than this, probably. But this is the big unit you're going to want to use for some of the things that I do that I'll show you. And that kind of has its own stand. So you can just plug it right in. You know, any of these will stand up on its own. And that's kind of why I made it this way, that the base is kind of the battery, and that's where all the weight is. So it doesn't really need to be sleek or streamlined on this here. So there's the batteries that you connect it to. So what I did is I made up a bunch of cables, okay, and I'll show you. I've got a couple of cables connected to other items already that I'll show you. But for instance, you can make up this cable, okay, which you just got your end. Now all the cables that I have interchange into the same connector, and you could plug it in, and now you've got just a couple of alligator clips that are going to give you 12 volts if you need to light up some light bulbs, test some circuits, whatever you need to do, power something temporarily. That's an option, okay? So what I do is I have this little carrying case that I keep all my little connectors in. So it becomes this little, kind of like a kit, you know? This here you can use to kind of slow charge or jump start your car. You could plug this in here, you know, and again, you could do it with alligator clips. You could plug this in and then go right into your cigarette lighter. That you're going to want to probably leave, you know, 15-20 minutes before you try to start your car. You will give your car just enough voltage to be able to start it off even one of these small batteries, believe it or not. And one of the main uses that I use it for is a backup for my Harley Davidson motorcycle. You could do it with any motorcycle, but I'll show you how I have that set up, because the battery tender, if you're used to the battery tender, if you have a motorcycle, it's got the same connector. So chances are you've already got that lead. What you do is you stick this inside your saddlebags in your motorcycle, or under the seat somewhere, and make sure you just have a fresh charged battery on you at all times. I've got some of the Milwaukee gear that uses this battery, which is another thing you can have it for. But you have a fresh battery in this unit, and if you happen to leave your key on or your battery dies, you come out of a restaurant or whatever, rather than looking for somebody with jumper cables taking your seat off to get to your battery, plug this in, plug that into your battery tender connector, which goes right to your battery. Give it 10 minutes, start your bike up. I've done this 3 or 4 times, believe it or not. Actually on the same battery, and only a little battery at that. Big battery, I'll show you one of the uses that's best for that. So that's one great use. I'll show you that again. There's the, you can plug into a cigarette lighter. You can make up any different type of ends that you want, depending on what you need. You want to have a different type of connector, like you could do a connector like this. If you've got some type of 12-volt device that you want to power, it could be a radio, it could be, you know, a power boom box, whatever you got. As long as it's 12 volts, you plug this in and you've got a universal, all different plugs. I actually have this not so much for this. This is Milwaukee's basically same version of what this is, but it's not really designed to do that, even though it mentions it does. This is more of a USB. It does have a 12-volt output, which is what this is for. So I can plug this in, and you can do your same thing right here, okay? But I don't have a whole bunch of different adapters that plug into this, whereas this one is simple. I can also fuse it, and these are expensive. These are a couple of bucks. So you can have a bunch of these. You're not going to probably want to have a bunch of these. The advantage of this one, though, that is nice to have, is it does tell you how much battery life you have left in your battery by pushing the button. It's got your little power meter on it, which is nice. You can also charge your battery with a micro USB. Very slow charge, but you could charge it. This might be what you'd want to keep in your motorcycle. You could plug into your USB port on your motorcycle from your battery, so as you're driving, it's always keeping this charged and keeping your battery charged. And then if you do need to use this, unplug it, and then you can go ahead and plug this in and plug into your battery tender and jumpstart your truck, your motorcycle. So that's another option, but I wanted to show you that you can just buy this like that. And again, the Amazon link is very similar to looking like this, but it's just a basic version with wires, a little switch, and a fuse on it, similar to what this is. But if you don't want to make it yourself, you don't have a 3D printer, you can just buy it. Again, I'll have the link in the description for that. I'll probably also throw some extra links in there for these type of connectors that you might want, just so you know what you're looking for and what they're called. So this is kind of useful as well, but again, I think it's like 50 bucks. It's pretty expensive. It's not something you're going to want to have 5 or 6 of laying around, whereas these you don't have to worry about. So let me show you some of the good uses. Like I said, I already mentioned the motorcycle, so we'll go ahead and plug this in. And I'm going to just bring this adapter for now, and I'll show you a couple of good uses. All right, so here we are at the motorcycle. Right now I'm on my battery tender. As you can see right here, most people have these. Kind of when you store your motorcycle over the winter, you just plug this cord in, and it very slowly charges your battery. And this is the connector here. This one has 3 spots for a terminal, which I don't know why. Maybe it's just to hold this cover. I don't know. But it's still a 2-wire connector. So all you do is unplug the battery tender, and you can plug this right in. And go ahead and wait 10 minutes, and you can jump start your motorcycle. Okay, here is another great use. If you have a diesel heater, I've got this portable diesel heater that you can carry around. You need a 12-volt source, power source for this. Right now I've got it wired, and I've got a little 20-amp plugged-in power supply, so I can run it inside. But if you were to take this on the go, you know, you could hook it into like your car battery or something like that, or any other 12-volt source. But you can also just have, like I have made up here with a couple of terminals, and I added a connector to it. Now this connector can just chill here. It doesn't need to be part of anything, but when you need it, you got it. And on this, it will start up, but it only runs for about a minute or 2 and dies. On one of the small batteries, you're going to want to have the bigger 4-amp-hour battery for this. But I've run this diesel heater for 2 hours. I don't know how long it will run, but I've ran it off 2 hours from starting up. I think it takes like 7 amps to get the glow plug running and then fired up. And I ran it for 2 hours after that on like a medium setting to heat up the shop, or the office room I have here. And again, you just plug that right into there, and you can just stick it right on top. Sorry for the bad camera work, but again, you'd be using your big battery, just stick it right up on top there, plug it in, and now you've got a portable carry-around heater, okay, that you could use if you're going into, put it in your car. If your heater's bad in your car, well, I guess you got to exhaust it out, so I don't know if you use these for cars unless you mount them, but whatever your use is for a diesel heater, a portable one, you could supply it with this. Okay, don't mind the mess here, but here is just another example of where this is actually the main reason I started using this. It's kind of dark here, but hopefully we can still see it. What I do, and the small battery is fine for this, stick this right here. Let me get this plugged in. All right, so I got it plugged in. And this is a small water pump, the same type of water pump that you'd have in an RV. I actually have two. I have one here that runs off a foot pedal. This is just for running water out of our 50-gallon drum in the shop because we don't have running water in here. This is a pump that runs and builds up pressure, so we can run it to the outside and you can leave it on, and when you open the faucet it actually starts. This one has to be activated from the foot pedal, but this one only runs when it senses that there's a drop in pressure in the line, so it'll build up pressure and stop. So this is got your positive down here. I just go ahead and plug it in there, and then plug right under here. There you go. You can hear the pump running. And this little 1.5 amp hour battery will run this for quite a while. So it's a great little portable power solution for little 12-volt electric pumps and things like that you might need. And rather than running a dedicated power supply to this, when I added this second pump, this is a perfect use for it. I'm just going to leave this unit right here, and then when I need to use it, I just plug a Milwaukee battery into it, and it's all set to go. All right, so there you go, guys. Like I said, wicked useful item to have. What I like to do is have a few of these on hand, and I just basically keep them around in the areas where I might need them. Just have one on hand if you need to bring it with you. Have one in your motorcycle. You could have one in your car. You could have them everywhere if you're into the Milwaukee battery system. And then you can go ahead and make up all different types of connectors and cables like this. Get yourself a nice little case like this to hold all your connectors. And there you go. You got yourself a nice little 12-volt portable power supply for whenever you need it. Make up a bunch of these. I was originally going to say if anybody wanted some of these and you wanted them printed, I'd print up some and sell them to you just for the, couple bucks or whatever. But after I found that product on Amazon, that's basically the same thing, very short amount of money. I can't imagine you wouldn't, spend, at least buy a couple of them. That's what I'd do. If I did have my 3D printer, I'm always looking for things to make. So, and again, if you have one of these, this comes with your heated Milwaukee jacket. So you can unplug it. When you wash the jacket, you actually have to unplug it. You don't wash this. But this is another a nice unit to have for other things. Again, you can run USB on it to charge things. So this becomes like a power bank now to charge your phone or whatever. So it has that capability. But again, you can make whatever adapters you want if you just stick with this original regular connector, which is pretty common. Another thing you could do is, these also work with like solar chargers, all different things, and you can actually charge your battery inside of here as well. So, all right, I hope that helps somebody out. And like I said, all the links will be down in the description for anything that I have in this video that might be helpful for you, just so you don't have to search and find it. And I think I get a couple of bucks kickback if you use those links. If you want to buy any, have at it. Hopefully this helps somebody, and this is exactly why I made this channel. Little tips and tricks like this, little things like this I love finding out and watching, kind of like life hacks. And when I see something that just works so well, and I just literally use it so often, so many times, I just grab this and go, grab this and go. There's always Milwaukee batteries around. I got 2 in this, 2 in that, 2 over here. Got so many of these things kicking around, and they're just so universal. And the 12-volt is pretty common. You want to test a radio, a CB, car stereo. So many different 12-volt things that you can use this power supply for. Rather than using their dedicated battery system, why not keep it all the same? All right, guys, thanks for watching.